Hello folks, it's Josh Kurniewski here with Pat Reed in episode 36 of the Modern Agile Show. I'm so thrilled that Pat could join us today. We just saw each other at the Agile Open NorCal, and I said, you've got to come to the show because just so much wisdom that you have to share, and you know, we need this in the world to hear this. So Pat is a former executive from Disney, Universal Studios, The Gap. She is the founder and principal consultant at iHorize. And that stands for what?
Innovative Horizons.
Innovative Horizons.
Business Agility.
Business Agility. So, and she also is an adjunct professor for UC Berkeley, running a Agile management course there, a certificate course that spans several months, I think, right?
Yes, several years, quite honestly.
Oh, years, okay, yes. So that's a lot alone there, but there's so much more beyond it. We were talking at the conference, and basically Pat is helping the entire government of Australia become agile. Right. So, you know, she's really an amazing person. So thanks for coming.
Oh,
thanks for coming here.
Delighted.
It's an honor to have you. And so let's start by just getting into, you know, what do you think of agile, you know, agility, business agility? You talk a lot about organizational agility. You know, what is this, and what are you providing?
I think agility is absolutely key to thriving in the future and really being able to learn and adapt continuously.
Yes.
So although its roots are in obviously software development, it's become so much more important today with the increasing uncertainty and complexity in the world for individuals and organizations to learn as quickly as possible and adapt to those emerging challenges and threats that are out there. So business agility is really key to adapting and to creating that ability to thrive and create for yourselves an amazing future. Yeah. So that's what it's all about.
Yep. And that, I get the sense that that excites you to this day. I mean, that concept doesn't go, that excitement is like, it's like a candle, it keeps burning.
Right.
Right? It's the same for me, right? Yeah. I view it the exact same way, and yeah, it's all about learning and adapting quickly.
Are we learning fast enough?
Right, right. And I think it's interesting that we didn't call this particular field adaptive. Like adaptability is important, but there's also speed.
Yes.
You know, because if you adapt over 5 years, you know, it could be too slow and you'll be a dinosaur.
Exactly. And it's not our natural tendency to be adaptive and continuously learning.
Right.
So we've got to actually work against that kind of quicksand desire of us to sort of just be comfortable.
Yes.
You know, and settle in. We've got to continuously learn at the edge of our comfort level. Right. And kind of continuously learn, push ourselves into that, asking ourselves, what did we learn today? How are we creating value for the customer, differentiating value? And are we really learning fast enough, pushing ourselves fast enough?
Love it. Yeah. And do you feel you do that personally? Like
oh, you live and breathe it.
Yeah. So how do you do that?
Well, people who know me know that I am the most comfortable at the edge of chaos. I kind of will create my own chaos if life doesn't create it for me, right? Because I do really respect the fact that we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
We have to create that edge for ourselves in terms of pushing way beyond the traditional process and structure and things that actually turn into ways of holding us back. If we really want to, I frequently do a lot of work in Australia and often use the character of Bear Grylls, kind of adopting a Bear Grylls lifestyle.
Yes.
Everyone in Australia knows and reveres Bear Grylls because he's constantly pushing himself as a survivalist to extreme circumstances. And I think oftentimes if we understand that agility truly is about learning, and learning at the edge of chaos is where we learn the most. So it's quite natural then to become comfortable being uncomfortable at the edge of chaos. So that's where we're going to really learn how to thrive.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's yeah, I think it's when I started my company, Industrial Logic, I was a little bit, it was a big leap to start a company. And I remember someone saying to me at the time, you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And I was deeply uncomfortable after starting it, because you're sitting around waiting for customers to show up.
Right. And it's so different.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I guess you're echoing some thoughts I've had around when you're really moving fast.
Yeah.
But it's not just about speed, obviously, right? But fast enough where you're not that comfortable. In other words, you're not just jogging.
No.
You are going pretty fast where it's not that you're going to slam into a wall. I think that's dangerous. But you're going fast enough that, it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. And that's the key, right? The key really is to let go of the things that we feel we need to be comfortable, like the excess process, like the heavy systems, like the training wheels, as you talk about in your practice and training. We have to let go of those training wheels.
That's right.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
Because the training wheels we will gather the training wheels if we're not mindful of the fact that we're seeking balance, not.
Yeah, not just can I move the bike forward? It's ultimately the essence of biking is balance. Let's learn that early.
Right.
So, I think so I wanted to talk a little bit about what do you find the most challenging when you're working with a group to bring this approach in? Because this is obviously not recipe-driven Agile.
Exactly.
It's not here's my framework. Let's run with it. You're bringing in a different approach, a business agility approach, an agile organization approach. What do you find is what's the most challenging with that?
The most challenging is really being disrupting, creating enough of discomfort for the participants to truly build their edge, stretch their edge.
Yeah.
Right, not going in with any kind of cookie cutter, but actually creating enough tension for them to break through their traditional ways of thinking, but not too much tension for them to actually, have a panic attack. Right. But find that balance requires you to be agile at a level that you role models for them to actually become agile. I see.
Yeah, because I was rereading Crossing the Chasm recently, and I was reading about the early majority, how they kind of they don't want revolution, they want evolution, and they don't really want to upset the old guard, the old status quo.
Right.
Isn't that a challenge, though, when you're trying to take people to their edge, and they have that mindset of I don't want to upset the old stuff?
They have to actually get so much more excited about the new stuff that they shed the old stuff.
Yes.
They have to unlearn or kind of let go of that dependency in order to get really excited about the possibility. And so I use, kind of having spent most of my career at Disney, I use a lot of our practices in Agile, by the way, did emerge from the creative process of making major motion pictures. Story maps, dailies, a lot of those practices. So I tap into that imagine the possibilities, if we could, and help people let go of any fears or any impediments that are holding them back by convincing them or helping them to imagine the possibilities. I kind of have a design the future game that's a good way to sort of break that ice.
I love it.
To say, let's imagine if we could. So anytime they kind of say, well, you don't understand, we're government or whatever, we don't do that here. Imagine if we could focus on the results or the outcomes that they're looking for, so they can find ways and discover to let go of whatever it is that is holding them back.
I see.
Because you can't actually disrupt to the point of really innovative new creation if you don't let go of those
I see.
training wheels.
I see. Yeah, I love that. So you're inspiring them. You're basically helping them see a future
Right.
that they really want to go towards,
Yeah.
so that they can let go
Exactly.
of the older ways.
Exactly. And I sometimes try to create a bit of safety in the experience.
Right.
So that in these four walls, or whatever the experience is,
Mm-hmm.
they feel that confidence.
Yes.
We do have to build their confidence
Yes.
in their learning to imagine. So
Mm-hmm.
imagining helps kind of, it does start with their core beliefs and their own possibility of their agile mindset.
Right.
Is where I start to do most of my work.
Mm-hmm.
Really helping individuals let go of the fear of not knowing something and embrace that uncertainty of discovering something.
Yeah.
You know, it's complex, but it works nicely together.
Yeah, I love it. And so you get to work with the executives, the top of the food
Yes,
chain,
that's right.
to influence their thinking.
Right. And it starts there. As the work I do in Australia, traditionally is to start with the secretary, deputy secretary level, so that they believe in the potential of their organization to achieve great things for their citizens, let's say. A
Right.
different total model than with corporate executives.
Right.
But with corporate executives, banks, any of the companies I work with, I start with the senior most leaders
Yeah.
in some breakout sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can cascade and role model that
Yes.
for their entire organization. Very powerful way to start.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've interviewed Paul O'Neill of Alcoa, and he became the Treasury Secretary, and I'd actually just been to this safety course, which was talking a lot about grassroots safety. And Paul O'Neill was really clear with me. He said, it has to start from the top.
Right.
He led Alcoa that way.
Right.
So it sounds like that, but obviously you can't just have it pushed down from the top. So what do you have to say about that in terms of, you're getting the worker bees eventually are going to be part of this.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
The worker bees change the culture,
Yes.
right? When you think about the incredible complexity of real sustainable culture change for organization, it starts with visionary leadership and role modeling at the top.
Yes.
A great role model, Satya Nadella from Microsoft, for example,
Yeah.
and how he instilled a growth mindset
Yeah.
throughout the entire organization.
Mm-hmm.
So the leaders create that visionary leadership,
Yeah.
and they set the tone with
Yeah.
real clarity of outcome and clarity of purpose,
Right.
enough to activate the seeking system, so to speak, of all the people, kind of unleashing their potential.
Yes.
But then the individuals that are actually running the company, doing the work, creating the value, are the ones that actually, through their new values and their behaviors,
Yeah.
change the organization. The missing link that a lot of organizations and individuals miss is that you have to create new habits
Yes.
to replace the old habits.
Yes.
And you have to replace systemic support structures like performance management systems
Yeah.
to replace the old.
Right.
But if you've got the visionary leadership that sets the tone from the top with real clarity of purpose that inspires people
Yeah.
to actually want to be part of it and to achieve true transformational change from the grassroots, that's where it's going to happen.
Okay, this is a perfect segue then into agile accounting,
Oh, lovely.
which is a term you use. Because, what I find sometimes happens, even in my own company,
Right.
is, you want to unleash, and you try to unleash folks, and then they come up with something that's going to cost a lot.
Yes,
And you don't necessarily have the budget for it.
right,
And they don't necessarily know that because they're kind of siloed off from the people that do the finances.
right.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Certainly, I would love to. It's one of my favorite topics and a very popular topic because as any enterprise or company is moving towards enterprise agility, they will collide with the traditional accounting practices, particularly, let's just take one specific example. How do you account for project labor cost tracking in terms of capitalization versus expense?
Right.
So as you are evolving as an organization and everyone is working in a more agile fashion, you naturally let go of administrivia type tasks that would be traditional expense.
Right.
And you invest the potential of the organization in creating more capital assets or more value. The more you're focused on doing only that which creates differentiating value,
Yes.
you learn to let go of all the expense-related work. So what you'd normally see in your evolution from a more traditional plan-driven company to a more agile company would be you're creating faster assets, you're learning fast, you're creating things that are of higher value
Right.
to the customer. You can actually capitalize and depreciate those assets. So your bottom line impact to the business to invest more money in creating more assets
Right.
is exponential,
I see.
right? Because you're actually, and your position or your respect of Wall Street is more profound as well.
Right.
Because they're favoring organizations that are actually reducing expense and creating value.
Right.
That's what we do in Agile, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. So basically, we're helping the company shift, and that means working with
Right.
those people that hold the purse strings
Exactly.
to change their mindset
Right.
to an agile mindset.
And
yeah.
that's amazingly easy to do once they understand it.
Right.
If you take a look at your own Modern Agile
Yes.
circle,
Yes.
you know, creating value continuously.
That's
Do
right.
Only the work that creates value.
Yes.
That rings true for everyone.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone comes to work each day wanting to create value.
Right.
You have to let go of the non-value added effort. All the process that so often encumbers
Yes.
organizations when they step into this new world of Agile has to be ultra light
Yes.
and value focused.
Yeah.
Process for process sake becomes waste
Yes.
and actually generates a tremendous amount of waste.
Yeah. So this is a lot of lean wisdom,
And
obviously.
lean wisdom
Yeah.
to the max, right?
To the max,
but
yeah.
agility is really about the more value you create, the more lean you're going to be,
Yeah.
or evolving
Yes.
ultimately too, and the more you're going to eliminate a lot of that waste, right?
Wonderful. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that most companies that are just simply adopting like an agile framework of
Right,
sorts,
right.
they're not doing that. They're simply getting a vendor or two to implement these things and ignoring finances
Right.
or ignoring people operations
Right,
or
HR,
traditionally HR.
right.
What about HR? Do you obviously you must work with them too?
Yeah, HR is an extremely, if we really look at agility as a people process, right?
Yes.
Because it's all about the people, then HR plays a more instrumental role. So I do a lot of work with HR
Yeah,
in terms of understanding
yeah.
the importance of their role.
Yeah, because they, I mean, obviously, like an individual performance
Right.
or a review or a bonus for an individual doesn't necessarily fit too well
No.
if it's an agile team.
It's actually an impediment to organizational agility. Imagine a high-performing team
Yeah,
where they're going to be rated at the end of the year on a force-ranked scale.
right.
You know, it's going to be counter. You
Yeah.
cannot achieve agility
Hmm.
if you're working in an environment
Yeah,
that systemically is actually impeding agility.
right.
So HR holds the keys to ensuring that the support structures to change those habits
Yeah,
are going to be holistically applied
yes.
across the entire company.
So would you say then that it's in general better to begin with this executive level, accounting, HR, leadership, before beginning, the team level stuff? Would you say that, or is it?
It could be. There are a number of approaches depending on the organization and the size.
Yes.
One of my primary clients is Walt Disney Company, a very large company.
Yes.
So holistically, you'd want to address practices at the same time that you're building the capabilities in the team
Yes.
and building the internal coaching capabilities in the leaders.
Right. Okay. So concurrent.
Concurrently,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because it's a holistic approach.
Yeah.
You want to take like a thin slice of the organization concurrently
Yes.
to show them the possibilities of what results might look like, right? We don't have the time to to tackle just HR.
That makes perfect sense.
But I always do recommend that we start with the mindset of the organizational mindset, as role modeled by the senior-most leaders.
I love it. This is amazing stuff, yeah. So more and more people need to know this. I mean, it's really, this is the secret, because we talked a little bit at the conference about, you were calling it Agile Quicksand.
Yes.
What is Agile Quicksand?
Agile Quicksand is sadly Scrum Fall or any kind of Agile practices that people, because of their discomfort at that edge of uncertainty, they gravitate towards heavy processes. And so often I have seen organizations embrace process, the methods. Let's just take a few for example, SAFe or Scrum, and then focus instead of customer value, they focus on the Scrum practices.
Right.
Or they focus on the SAFe practices.
Yeah.
Big room conference planning that spend more time on the planning than on the delivery, right? So anytime an organization gets uncomfortable evolving itself by staying stuck in process, there's waterfall, there's agile fall. So that quicksand is a trap that almost every organization goes through quite naturally because it's comfortable. It gives you a false sense of confidence. Oh, thank goodness, there's a process I can quickly adopt. Show me the checklist.
The silver bullet.
The silver bullet, right. Everyone's craving a silver bullet to deflect that discomfort. Instead, they need to actually become comfortable with that edge, knowing that they learn. I live on the coast, very close to Mavericks, the big wave surfing. And I like to use the metaphor of the big wave surfers that go out there. They're a role model of agility. They keep going back day in and day out. They know they're going to fall off their surfboard, but they're not looking for a silver bullet.
Right.
They're looking to learn from the next big wave, because that's the only way they're going to master that evolution to where they want to go, the goal that gets them back on the surf every day. So I like to use them as a metaphor.
Yes.
That we have to let go of our quest for a silver bullet.
Yes.
You can't just go out and buy a silver bullet surfboard.
Right.
That's going to win you Mavericks.
No, not going to work.
It's not going to work.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, this is the thing that we see and you called it quicksand. It really stuck with me because it's hard to change once it's organizational wide or department wide. It's hard to change.
Right.
Hey, we spent all this money, we got all this training, got all these people with new roles and titles, and
show me
now
the value. Show me the value.
Show the value, right? Are you actually creating amazing outcomes for your customers or your citizens in the case of Australia?
Or are you stuck?
Or are you stuck implementing a process?
In Agile Fall.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a natural place to get stuck.
And that's why this Modern Agile is basically saying, there's these 4 principles. We didn't make this up. This comes out of lean thinking, lean startup thinking, deep agile thinking. Kathy Sierra's make people awesome, badass. And like, it is uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I think what you're saying is so important because it's saying if you truly want to be agile, you have to be, as you said, uncomfortable, or comfortable being uncomfortable.
And you have to be uncomfortable letting go of the desire to find that silver bullet, which everybody is always looking for the silver bullet.
Yes.
What you'll find with Modern Agile is that crystal clarity of if you stay true to those 4 principles, and you can kind of ensure that you're consistently focusing, that's kind of a guiding beacon, if you will, through that chaos.
Yes.
Because you've got to stretch to that edge of chaos in order to truly be learning as fast as possible. That's kind of your lifeline.
That's it. That's exactly how I think of it. And it's hard.
Yeah, it is
really hard. I mean, it's the opposite of the silver bullet.
Exactly.
But any of us who've been doing this a long time, we know that that's what's required if you're really going to have exceptional results.
Right.
So yeah, and just really quickly here, You told a story about something, it reminds me a little bit of the Agile industry and how that's kind of shaping things in an unfortunate way.
Yes.
You told a story about a woman who was rejected from a job.
Yeah, a story of a student of mine, a brilliant student, spent her entire career as an engineering, growing up the chain to become an engineering lead at Apple and Google, and was Agile at the core.
Yes.
She was Agile, her DNA was Agile.
Deeply Agile.
And she decided she was going to actually take a shot at a job with Amazon, and thought that she would kind of test her mettle, kind of stretch her skills. And the interesting thing is that she didn't understand her own agility.
Yeah.
Right? And so in the interview, she was not successfully communicating her true Agile capabilities, and actually didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I found that to be quite profound in terms of not even recognizing that she was Agile at the core, but helped her then to connect to her own agility, and so that she would sail through not only the next interview, but any that she would ever encounter. It's that building your confidence, your own confidence and awareness of your agility to stretch and to be able to tackle, starting with the mindset, and then the 4 core values. She nailed it.
Yeah, because you mentioned she sailed through all the different parts of the interview until she got to
candidate.
And then she got to the final interview, and it sounded like the interviewer was looking for a cookie cutter experience guide of, oh, you didn't do the cookie cutter, you're not Agile.
Right.
Which is really unfortunate because they lost a great person who could have made Amazon customers even more happy, you know, whatever. It's
but the learning there, the key learning there was both sides lost and had to reassess their screening practice and their own internal confidence to realize what is Agile, right? It's not being able to recite, you know, a body of knowledge or, you know, some rituals. But it's about living and breathing the core values and learning faster than the chaos that's out there waiting for you.
I love it. Yeah. So knowing the real meaning and nature of real agility is key to practicing it.
Right. And you'd be surprised at how often people get Agile confused with some practices or methods.
Yeah.
You know?
I see it all the time. So it's you're preaching to the choir, and this is awesome stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, thank you, Pat.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Joshua.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for watching our episode here. If you enjoyed this, please share it, and we will be back for more episodes in the future. If you have any questions to ask, please put them in the comments, and we'll respond. And thanks again for watching.